Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers podcast. Episode 239, I want to say. 239. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
I know we're in different time zones, but I mean, it's very dark there. I didn't realize. I mean, I know it's bright out right now.
Yeah, so I moved again.
And, look at that behind you. The castle. Okay.
Yeah. I remember a couple weeks ago I said like once you move to a castle, you kind of can't go back to anything else.
Basically.
Peach's Castle was okay for a little while, but there was a whole incident with I looked up in the ceiling.
I told you not to. I
know. I looked up in the ceiling, and then all of a sudden, I flew and wound up here. So, so I thought I would just kind of stay here for a little while. I have noticed that the sun hasn't been out in 6 days.
Oh, that's weird.
Think, so but you know what? I like it. I like dark. I like cold.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of dread. Maybe. I mean, you got a heck of a security system there. I mean, that wall looks fantastic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, nobody gets through the wall, which is great.
And you got some drones flying around. I think.
And I have some drones, and there's definitely like top-notch security. I think there's one guy loves to wear robes and stuff like that, but you never really have to worry about anything.
Fair enough. Is there a grotto or?
Yeah, there's a bit of a grotto. There's I did find a little cemetery that's a bit disturbing, but
a little weird. Okay.
Yeah, I know. The ground is fresh all the time. I don't understand that. So
it's odd.
Whatever.
All right, fair enough.
Whenever people knock on the door and then they're never seen again, I honestly can't complain.
Like okay, I was gonna say like door-to-door salesman.
Yeah, whoever it is, random people.
Fair enough. All right. Whip it till it's good. All right. So, good luck with this place. Hopefully you stay. I mean, there's only so many times that, I hate to see you move so many times. You got to pack, unpack. I mean, it's got to be just a torture.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely torturous. It's like, but what can you do? The good news is my landlord here seems to be really nice. So
really? Okay.
Yeah, he looks malnourished, but otherwise pretty good.
Yeah, I'm only assuming you're in Alaska since you said for 6 days the sun hasn't rose, but that's just me. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm not prying.
He speaks with an accent, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you stay in this one. This one looks good.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, you right there? A little itchy?
Yeah. My neck's bothering me a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Just put some...
No, not at all.
I can't remember the thing. Okay, well, in any event, so we have a great episode here lined up this week. A fantastic anniversary that we're going to be talking about in a little while. But, it's funny, every week, almost every week, not every week, but almost every week, I usually tend to show some stuff I've picked up throughout the time in between episodes. And, sometimes, Anthony, you give me a little bit of not a scoff, but like, he's just spending his money. Meanwhile, you've dropped, I don't know how much money already on a third castle. So I don't want to see you even make a wink at me when I start showing off what I got here.
Hey, look, you know what? The rent's cheap, actually. So it's probably less than what you paid for with this week's haul.
You know what? You're probably right. All right, so I got a couple things.
Plus, Airbnb, it's pretty inexpensive sometimes.
That's true. That is true. Check out Airbnb, not a sponsor. Two of the things, I got three things to show off here. Two of them I ordered a while ago. They just finally showed up. And one, if for no other reason, the artwork. I picked up a copy on the Famicom, which is, this is not a secret game, Transformers on Famicom. Mystery of Convoy.
Yes.
Now, notoriously difficult game, terribly difficult game, but this one is converted onto an NES cartridge. It's the Famicom version, but I love the cart and I love the artwork. It's just
very nice.
You know what I mean? Nothing fancy. It's the Famicom game, just on an NES cart. I just love the way it looks.
Yeah, no, it looks really good.
Yeah, and I've seen another copy of this that had this didn't have a box with it, but someone had like a full NES box, and the cart itself was like this bright chrome like this shiny chrome color to the thing. I didn't get a chance to get my hands on that, but I kind of like this one anyway better, just the way it looks. So
yeah, that one is kind of cool.
So this one's more going to be like a what's what I'm looking for? Display. Thank you. Display. So we got that. And then a couple of items here that, again, it's just new things that's making me fall in love with old systems. One, which I recommend anyone and everyone who has a Sega CD to go pick this up. This I got from Castlemania. Castlemania. I don't know why I feel like saying Castlemania. I feel like I want to say something else, but it's...
Yeah, well, it sounds familiar to something.
Nah, I don't know. But it's with an M.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's with Castlemania. This is the Sega CD backup RAM cart. So if you remember, and this isn't anything fancy, it's just Sega CD had a RAM cart to basically expand on the memory to save games and stuff like that. And I think it also, because of a RAM cart, it might have expanded the RAM a little bit for some games to run a little bit smoother or better. But this is just their version, because I have not seen an original Sega backup RAM cart probably since I originally bought one back in like 91 or something like that. So compatible with the Genesis Model 1, Model 2, Sega CDX, the XI. You have the XI, right? What is that thing? That JV...
Oh, the JVCXI.
Yeah, all right, so you do have an XI.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, like, you can use...
You were saying something else. I was thinking of something.
Oh, okay, no problem. So you can definitely use this. They have, like, two versions. It's weird. They have, like, a straight-up Genesis one and then just, like, a Genesis Mega Drive one. But, it's just nice, clear.
Oh, very cool.
Very 90s, clear. So I recommend that. Again, nothing fancy, but very cool. Then I got this. I ordered this other thing, again, from Retrobit, that... It's so simple, and it's so ridiculous. It is a PS1 memory card. All right. Let me see if I can...
Yeah.
PS1 memory card. It's called MemCard Pro. It's from...
but I see something digital on front.
So it's from 8-Bit Mod. Essentially, it takes micro SD cards.
Oh.
And it takes...
That's kind of cool.
Very cool. It takes up to I don't have one in here, but a 2 terabyte micro SD card.
Okay, I challenge anybody to save 2 terabytes worth on a PlayStation 1.
So do the math, because I'm not. An original PS1 memory card is 8 megabytes.
Yes.
You figure it out. Because I think this is only 16. That's only because I have like nothing...
That's
Everything
like
else
roughly
needs at least 32.
That's like roughly if you had a 2 terabyte in there, that's about 240 original memory cards.
240,000, I think, memory cards or something like that. So what's cool about this, and it came in different colors. Obviously, I got smoke black.
That's
yes,
crazy.
You do see the little screen on front. It only powers up when it's
240 times 2400 maybe.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
I'll take your word on it. It's got the little screen on it. It powers up once it's in the system. And I mean, it's just a straight up memory card. That's really all it is. But I feel like it's better to have this and carry it around than having all those other memory cards if you're heavy into PS1 games. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like, convert them over. What's very cool, when you put it in, it boots up. And like, you can it'll tell you when it's reading and writing, which it's just kind of like the little thing is like, oh, okay, it's saving.
Does it display like a almost like a calculator or a beeper?
Almost. No, for real, almost, yeah. And then which I haven't tried yet, but you can access this memory card from a web browser. So it is Wi-Fi, and you can do more things like move stored files around, maybe even download saved files or something like that. But if you're into PS1 and you're playing PS1 games, even just to save on memory cards, pick this up. MemCard Pro, totally worth it. Just to note, though, it only works on PS1s, like the original PlayStation, the smaller PS1, and original PS2s. It will not work on PS2 Slim. Apparently because there's not enough power that would go to the memory card to actually run this thing.
All right, that makes sense.
But yeah, totally worth it. Very easy to update. You download the firmware, and as soon as it boots up, it starts updating itself if needed. So this is, I highly recommend that for PS1 players.
With all the PS1 games that you play, I'm sure you'll get good use out of it.
Yes, I will, especially because I started playing more of them because of that.
Good.
So, and that's pretty much what I picked up today. I mean, I got my Sega CD back, so that's working well. That's all good to go. And I haven't. We did get some people commenting, responding to us, and we love when you guys and gals respond to us, whether on social media or on the email, or some of you can call us, on the Dreamcast situation, where my Hyperkin HDMI wire doesn't work with all games. So everyone's giving me the same suggestion. Just unplug it and plug it back in. Like, finagle it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to finagle something that has power running through it.
I think you should, and like I believe I told you this last time. I also think you should live stream it.
You see me get zapped, like, ow, quit it.
Well,
ow,
it can only be good for the podcast if our viewers watch you get electrocuted.
I'm in. It reminds me of when I was on an airplane. We were flying and the TV wasn't working, and I call over the flight attendant. I'm like, hey, TV's not working, and the guy's like, this is a true story. The guy's like, see that box by your feet? Like, yeah, like that's the TV unit. Kick it. I'm like, sir, I am not kicking anything that's electronic at 35,000 feet. I'm good to go. I'll just take a nap. So I'll kick my Dreamcast. That's ultimately what's going to happen.
There you go. Okay, can you live stream that?
I'll try to.
Please.
But otherwise, yeah. So that's pretty much about it. Waiting for a wireless Super Nintendo controller to come in. But
nice.
So far, so good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I've had no shopping endeavors because all my money has been going towards my moving. So
yeah, it's just like the moving and storage place must be like, all right, let's just give the Anthony special. Here we go.
Yeah, you know what? I would really like it if U-Haul would name that after me, because at this point they've gotten enough of my business.
I mean, honestly, at least give you some sort of discount.
No, they just don't want to. If anything, the prices have gone up.
Yeah, it's true. Gas and
they basically like, stop bothering us. We're tired. We're tired of moving you all over the place.
There are other places, or just stay.
Yeah. But you know what? You're not allowed to move anymore.
Now what?
Yeah. So cool. Very cool. Nice shopping stuff. No shopping stuff on my end.
Okay.
Again, once I'm settled into my new place, this is not my last stop here.
No? Oh, man.
Castle. No,
I hope so.
No. Nah, it's too drafty.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, the cold air is very biting. So I'm going to wind up, so maybe next week, on next week's podcast.
Careful the vegetable juice.
Yes. V8. V8
I thought it was milk.
I think next week I may possibly be settled into the new place, if not the week after. So,
okay.
So I'm closing in.
Cool. We'll take it.
Yeah, trust me, I will too. I'm tired.
All right, cool. So just curious. So I know you haven't purchased anything except for that wacky castle. Any bit of news or anything like that kind of came across from what you've seen?
Retro news. You want to jump into retro news? I have some.
Yeah, why not? Just a little bit before we get into the big.
Yeah.
Big
all right. So because we didn't get to retro news last week.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a bunch of fun stuff here. First one was, and I told you about this actually after we finished recording the podcast. Mm-hmm. So I thought I'd bring it up this week on the show.
Okay.
But there is a company that has released a company called Epilogue. They've released something called the GB Operator.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, what this is, it allows you to play your Game Boy cartridges on your computer.
Yes,
now, it's a $50 accessory.
I thought it was way more expensive than that.
Nope, $50. And you just hook it up to your computer, and you can put your Game Boy game cartridges in and play right on your PC.
It's essentially just a glorified Super Game Boy that just plugs directly into the computer, which works. Trust me, which works totally.
Yes. So
cool.
And the cool thing about it, it plays Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games.
Oh, good. All right, Game Boy Advance is always tough to do.
Yeah, and here's the one bit that may get you to buy it.
Uh-oh.
It's even compatible with the Game Boy camera.
Ooh, I'd save a
And
lot of low res selfies.
exactly. And I know you have a Game Boy camera.
I do have a Game Boy camera. Yep.
So you may wanna pick this up. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Good Linux. Okay,
So
cool.
people still use Linux.
Oh, I know. I'll still mod them.
And it's expected to release in August. So
Very cool.
yeah,
like
$49.99 plus shipping.
Yeah, that is way cheaper
Pretty
than
expensive.
I thought it was like a $300. Maybe I'm thinking of something else then, because I thought it was like a $300 item.
Nope. And it's a simple little, it's like a clear. If you look at the picture, it's like a clear case, and you can see basically the chipboard inside, and that's it. That's all that it is.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of time, like these electronics, there's really nothing to it. Like, yes, it's weird to say. Like, I've never seen the inside of like an electric guitar, and like for the first time yesterday, I saw the innards of an electric guitar, and there's like nothing to it. Like, there's not a lot of wires to it, whatever. So,
No.
but that's cool. That's interesting. And again, a lot of big time games were released on the Game Boy. And I'm always begging you to take advantage of the retro freak that you have and start buying those handheld games, especially a lot of the new ones. Companies are focusing on Game Boy. Like, I just ordered a game yesterday from Limited Run. That's a Game Boy game, and I am comfortable in saying that.
That's like your second purchase in a week with them, isn't it?
No. It's the same. It's the one that finally went on pre-order.
Okay,
yeah, a Tailgater.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to know that you've finally gotten through the 12-step process and admitted that you were the problem.
I feel all right. I didn't say I was the problem. I'm just saying I'm happy to open the door again for us to communicate, and we are communicating, and I'm happy.
Which is great. I'm glad you're communicating with a company who had no idea you had a problem with them.
Very comfortable with it.
So,
all right, cool.
And in terms of handheld games, I started buying some when I had the Retro Freak, and I was actually, do you remember, like, I bought the Zelda. Oracle of Ages and Seasons. And I started Streaming Ages, which I plan to get back to once I'm settled in my new place, because I really want to finish it and move on to Seasons. But I should start looking at that.
They got a lot of cool stuff.
Looking at handhelds, and I'll look to you for some recommendations and listeners and watchers of our podcast as well. I mean, if you guys, what are some of your favorite handheld games, like Game Boy, Game Gear, stuff like that?
Because Anthony can play Game Gear as well on his, right?
I can play Game Gear as well. So
very cool.
So I'm open to suggestions.
Very cool.
All right. Moving on to, let's see, what are my other bits of news here? Oh, interesting. This was just announced a few days ago, but a company called Funstock revealed that, you know Funstock? Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that sell in England the Evercade.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So they have recently announced that they will be releasing several Atari Jaguar titles on cartridge for you to collect and play.
Really? Like,
yes.
New games? Oh, okay.
No. Reproduce cartridges of original Atari
awesome.
Jaguar games.
Wow.
And they are Atari Jaguar cartridges.
Mm-hmm. Such a weird
They're going to be
cart.
It really is. They're going to go for about $63, but you get the cartridge with you get the original game in box with instruction manual.
I mean, I'm pretty sure those games went for probably a little bit more originally. Remember we talked about it last week. Cartridges were very pricey.
They were.
But the Jaguar,
especially when Jaguar was like the first 64-bit.
Still is debatable, I guess. I don't know.
No, it really wasn't.
That's cool. Jaguar. I never had an interest in Jaguar. Atari. That was a weird time for Atari.
Yep.
I'm just starting out. Is there a list, or at least just a couple?
Yeah, there are 3 games listed right now. One is called Head Over Heels.
Okay. I've heard of it,
and I don't know the game, so I'll read I'll read the description from. This is Bleeding Cool. They posted this information.
Bleeding Pool. What would cause you to go to a website called Bleeding Pool?
Oh, I don't know. It was recommended to me by my new landlord.
Oh, all right. Well, he seems like a cool guy. So
cool. Head Over Heels. 2 distinct characters, Mr. Head and Mr. Heels, are played in this game.
Wow. Okay.
Both separated at the shoulders, but can join together to boost their abilities.
I never want anyone to complain about my comedy. Okay.
So, game offers revolutionary gameplay, complex puzzles, and more than 300 rooms to explore.
Oh, it's a puzzler. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
The second game is Impossible. Impossible features the cape-clad superhero Monty Mole, who is recruited by aliens to retrieve their sacred scrolls.
I feel like I've heard that name before. Okay.
Yep. And then the last one is called Switchblade. It is a side-scrolling action platform game with run-and-gun elements where players assume the role of hero on his quest through a subterranean labyrinth in Undercity.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, that one sounds really fun.
I might have to get a Jaguar.
The aim of the game is to reunite 16 scattered fragments of the sacred Fireblade sword and use it against Havoc, an evil entity who broke free from his imprisonment.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Total. So those are the 3 games they've announced. The pre-orders start on August 2nd, and they will be shipping in September.
Okay, cool.
So there you go for fun stock.
I got some time to get a Jaguar.
Possibly. There's been a bit of Final Fantasy news lately. We talked about the final. Last month, Square Enix revealed that they would be releasing the first 6 Final Fantasy games in a new Pixel Remaster collection.
Yep.
Originally, it was announced and everybody thought, oh, we're getting all 6 at once. But now, recently, they've revealed that you are actually not getting all 6 at once. They're going to be 2 separate deliveries, or at least 2 separate deliveries.
Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 will drop on the PC on July 28th. So not too long to wait. But I'm very curious to see what the Pixel Remaster looks like. Some of the images that they show is actually really cool.
Okay.
So it's almost kind of like they took away the pixels. You know what I mean? Like everything's very smoother and cleaner.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, they just smoothed down the edges.
Correct. Yeah. So you will be getting the first 3 July 28th if you are available. If you are interested.
I will be available.
You will be available, but are you interested?
Well, supposedly they might. I mean, I don't know if it was in that article. They're supposed to be coming to mobile as well. So something to look into, because I definitely doesn't say anything there.
I did not see that.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm definitely interested in that.
Cool. And then we had a few weeks ago we had mentioned that Final Fantasy IX is getting an animated series.
Oh yes.
Remember?
Yep.
Now that is not the only franchise that is getting an animated series, because it was recently announced by Square Enix that they plan to create the Legend of Mana as an anime series.
Interesting.
So it's called Legend of Mana: The Teardrop Crystal.
Okay.
It will be produced by Warner Brothers Japan and animated by Graphinica and Yokohama Animation Lab.
Cool.
So
like a Netflix thing?
There's no release date.
Okay.
So we'll have to wait and see. The original Legend of Mana was a PlayStation game, actually, released in 1999. Maybe you should pick that up since you have your
my PS1
your new memory card.
Yeah, I thought Legend of Mana was on Super Nintendo.
No, that was PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
And then the remastered version was just released last month on the Switch, PS4, and PC.
I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm guessing, obviously on the heels of releasing that, they dropped this piece of information that we're going to get an anime series. So that should be really interesting.
Cool. Yeah, I hope Netflix does good with their animes. That Godzilla anime right now is phenomenal.
I will take your word for that. I have not seen it.
Okay.
But I'm a little behind on everything since I've been in transition for the last 2 months.
I don't even know if you get internet. Well, you do get internet. We're talking, but
no. Wi-Fi still works here. Actually, Wi-Fi works here better than when I lived in Orlando.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay, and now we're getting to the big bit of news, and this is, I think, going to lead into we have 2 big bits of news. Okay. One of them is stemming off a piece of retro news that I shared with you a couple days ago. And I just, right before we started recording this, I actually posted it to our page, Facebook page. Okay. But we all know how grading and collecting video games has become a bit of an obsession among collectors.
It's getting weird, yeah.
Yeah, now collectors have been driving up, especially during the pandemic. Now collectors have literally been driving up prices for trading cards, comic books, Pokemon cards have become the latest craze.
The pop vinyls shot up. It was crazy.
Pop vinyls are shooting up. Like everything is going up. And video games are not, are not being overlooked at all. In fact, they're becoming like the new fad for collectors.
Okay.
It's just like, oh, this whole new genre they can jump into. And of course, Heritage Auctions, which is one of the most well-known auctioning companies, they've been benefiting like crazy. It wasn't too long ago that we talked about a Super Mario Brothers 3 game that went for like, I don't know, like $500,000.
Something wacky.
Some crazy number. But there is a new world record as of July 9th. There's a new champ in the auction business for a video game cartridge, because an ultra rare copy of the original NES Legend of Zelda just sold on Heritage Auctions for $870,000.
I mean, unless it's dipped in actual gold. And again, look, I get it. I've seen it firsthand. I've been to these collector shows and these card shows and everything. I get there's an audience there, all right? And in some way, I can almost kind of understand where they're coming from. But on with trading cards, memorabilia, stuff like that. But with video games, I hate to say it, I just don't see that, because they're so readily available. But 800, I mean, almost $900,000. That is, again, short of being dipped in actual gold. I can't imagine why, especially Zelda.
Well, here's what it is, because it's becoming the trend with it is it's becoming the level of rarity the specific game, like the specific item has. So this isn't just a random Legend of Zelda you picked up in the store, and I think that's what makes a difference. Now, I'm not saying it's $870,000, but if you remember, the Super Mario Brothers cartridge, which I just looked up again, sold for $660,000.
Okay,
and if you remember, it was in the original Super Mario Brothers box, which means it was a game that did not come with your NES. And remember, it had the cardboard tab on top.
And it was like a first run or something like that.
Yeah, it was a first run with the cardboard tab and everything like that in pristine condition. So this Legend of Zelda game is a 1987 copy, which has a grade, which is sealed. It has a 9.0 grade in the grading system, but it's a grade 9 Rev A early production version produced for only a few months. And that's why they're throwing more value behind it, because there weren't a lot of copies of this specific Zelda made.
Okay. I mean,
so the only other Zelda cart that's rarer than this one is the NES TM version, which is the true first production run of Legend of Zelda. And as far as they know right now, there's only one sealed copy in existence of that specific run.
And Miyamoto that's doesn't even have it.
Right, exactly. But that's the thing with these. It's like they're literally boiling them down to which production run were they? How many of them do we know are still in existence, and how many of them are still sealed in existence? Like when you factor in all those pieces, that's how they're getting down to this whole. Oh God, this is like super rare.
Fair enough.
But again, $870,000 rare.
It's I don't, because like when you spend that much money on something, to me, I'm like, I want to play it. Like I want to put it in. You know what I mean? I want to get it into the NES and play it. Obviously, they're not going to crack it open unless they're nuts, which I wouldn't put it past them. But yeah, Zelda. All right. I mean, look, Zelda's Zelda. It's a great franchise. I've seen regular games on the market for crazy amounts of money, not almost 900,000, but crazy amounts. Right. And all right, whoever picked, I don't know if it says who bought it or anything, but whoever picked it up, hopefully he's a big Zelda fan. And will enjoy staring at that box.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind having a graded copy of Legend of Zelda, but I don't need an $870,000 graded copy.
Okay, how about an $870 graded copy?
Yeah, that I would be
Okay,
interested
fair
in.
enough.
Yeah,
Fair
you know,
enough.
but yeah, just $870,000, just
And
absolutely crazy.
that was back when Zelda was good.
Wait,
So,
what? What do you mean when Zelda was good?
I
Zelda's
mean,
never been bad.
um, you know, I don't want to bring this up because I know how much you love Zelda, and it's kind of
No,
like
no, no. And we have talked about this a little bit. And when I
hmm
say a little bit, it's just one little thing you messaged me, and I really wanted you to bring it up on the podcast because I love it when you make yourself look like a villain to everybody.
Well, that's not. How can I look like a villain? I just want to be like, I feel
No,
like
that's
this is gonna be like
okay.
slapping your firstborn in front of you.
No, no, no. Go right. Go ahead. Ganondorf it up. Let's go.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna say it, and I have no problem saying it. And I think it's not the only game in the series. It can probably stem to when the game really switched over, probably at like Wind Waker, maybe. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Wind Waker fully full. Breath of the Wild stinks. Okay,
Yeah.
Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild is not a fun game. I'm sorry. And the whole reason behind it, it looks gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It looks beautiful on the Switch. And it was in the game. I mean, if Breath of the Wild or Odyssey, if Odyssey would have been released like at launch, they're better. Yeah, they were better off going with let's go with Breath of the Wild because it looks beautiful and it looked beautiful on the Wii U because the version came out on Wii U. But and I don't know where it started, and it kind of is the reason why I canceled my Skyward Sword HD order because I can't deal with weapons that have a life bar. And to me, that is the stupidest thing. Between that, having to cook, having to, all right, being cold and stuff is fine, but I want it's a video game. I want to be able to go in, find a sword. Okay, I'll upgrade my sword, which by the way, there's a hack out, not a hack, but there's a workaround somewhere out there where you can get the master sword very, very early in Breath of the Wild. I saw an article or something real quick on it. I gotta start off beating these things with tree limbs, right? Or throw an apple at them, and then just to have my stuff break on me? No, I don't want to have to live in the video game. Like Zelda 3, Link to the Past was great. You go in, you find your dead uncle, you grab his sword, you grab his shield, and you move on. And you just go. That's what I want. I tried. When they announced Breath of the Wild 2, I'm like, you know what? I own Breath of the Wild. I never really deep dove into it. Let me deep dive into it. I didn't get that far into it. I froze myself to death. That's how far I got into it. Because I was there too early, even though I finally figured out how to cook. But I'm like, I don't need this. I just want to go and play. And also, because of this, I think I am very much reconsidering my digital-only stance because I own Breath of the... Actually, I originally bought Breath of the Wild on cart. I sold that back to download it digitally. So yes, I spent more money in the end, but I wanted it digitally. But now I'm stuck with it because I can't sell it back again. Breath of the Wild is not good. And I'm telling you right now, and I know people are going to agree with me.
Are you done?
I'm done. It's totally because of the weapon system. And the video I posted from Lowbrow proved me right. Funny. It's a funny video. But it proved me right. It's like, I'm going to hit you with a sword. Oh, my sword just broke. What the hell? I don't want that. That's a care I don't need in my life.
Mm-hmm. Done?
For now.
So,
No rebuttal, no retort. No, here's why it is a good game, and here's why this is a smart.
Well, I'm going to start with Metacritic.
No,
I'm going to start with Metacritic.
I don't want Metacritic. No, I don't want some people paid to talk about it. I want your opinion. Okay.
No. We're going to start with Metacritic, which over 109 critic reviews. The average score is a 97 out of 100.
Look, I stopped listening
That's the start.
I stopped listening to movie critics years ago when someone reviewed Forrest Gump saying it was a terrible movie. Okay? So I stopped listening to critics long. I care about what you think and what our listeners think.
Okay. So you are 100%, without a doubt, 100% wrong. Absolutely wrong. The game is a visual technical masterpiece.
Visually beautiful. One of the best.
But the gameplay is fantastic.
Horrific.
The challenge is brilliant. The way that they have changed the way you think about how the Zelda universe works, awesome. You just don't like the fact that you have to adjust and adapt.
No, it's just no. Look, I wasn't
No. Here's what you want. You want here. We're gonna give you what you want, and then just go do stuff.
What? Look, the original Legend of Zelda, did it right when you started with no weapons. You had to find the first weapon, even though it's right there, but no one really knew that in the beginning. So that's fine. You find your weapon, but then I don't need it. I don't need the swing, and all of a sudden I just have the hull or whatever they call it, the handle. That's the only thing that's here. I got a tree branch to swing.
Okay, well, here's perspective. Link is waking up 100 years after this brutal war, right?
Okay.
Where everything got desolated and stuff like that.
Hyrule Warriors.
So all of these weapons lying around. Let's just say, if we're talking story perspective, all these weapons are lying around, right? They've been lying around and and basically rotting or degrading for 100 years.
No, I don't buy that.
No. Do you think that they're just going to work perfectly?
I'm not talking about the weapon. You start with a tree branch. I don't want to swing a tree branch. Okay? I want to be able to get my sword.
But if you wake up in the middle of a desolate land, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's something coming at you, and the only thing you see around you to defend yourself with is a tree branch. What are you gonna do?
Listen, there's two things. You either run towards it or run away from it. And if I'm the hero of the story, everyone is screwed. Okay? Because
that's true.
You're
definitely first off, you're definitely running away.
No, you either run away or you try and bow up to them, and if you try and pretend that you're bigger, dominance. But it's a video game. I don't want. Fine, all right, fine. I get the story of things lying around and everything, but I don't want to in A Link Between Two Worlds or A Link Between Worlds, the 3DS Zelda game, which again, great game.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's when they did this rentable system where you rented your sub weapons. You didn't really find them. You literally rented them, and you can lose them. Then you got to go back and rent them again, or you can only hold 2 or 3 at a time. No, there was nothing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It adds to the challenge and the strategy behind it. You have to be strategic in which weapons you use against which enemies.
That's what the dungeons are for.
Yeah, but in Legend of Zelda, there aren't really dungeons in Breath of the Wild.
Well, yeah, you got the challenges or whatever. Let's face facts, they're dungeons, kind of, sort of.
Well, there were only not really.
I mean, in terms of you have to go somewhere, do something, and then defeat an enemy.
The point is, they added more to the game to, again, up the challenge, make it a different experience than you've ever had before in a Legend of Zelda game. And I think they did an incredible job. And so do almost every single critic who's ever done it. And not just critics, but everybody I know who's played Breath of the Wild has absolutely loved it. So you are definitely in the minority here.
I never said I was in the majority.
Yeah, no. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, even when they're wrong. You're wrong a lot. So
I'm gonna leave you with this. I'll leave you with this. I don't need to walk around Hyrule or whatever it is for 20 minutes cooking, making all these different recipes, finding stuff, defeating enemies, keeping myself warm for 3 minutes at a time or whatever like that. And, just because I forget to save, I got to go back and I got to do that all over again. It's not happening.
Well, you're the one who didn't save.
Autosave is there for a reason, people. So
did you ever play The Sims?
No.
Did you ever play any simulated game?
Well, SimCity. Yeah,
okay.
SimCity.
SimCity, where you basically spent your time building a city, right?
Well, yeah, after I unlocked the $1 million code, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you had to cheat.
No, it was I saw it in Nintendo Power, and it made life a little easy.
Right, so you had to cheat. Okay.
I wouldn't say cheat, but
what I'm just saying, like you basically spent time building a fake city and watching it run
and destroying it at times by my own hand.
Right, but what I'm saying is like there are tons of games that have like simulated life in them. So in other words, like The Sims is one of the most popular video game series of all time.
Agreed.
Where basically all you're doing is living a pretend life, which involves cooking, sleeping, creating a social life, getting a job, like doing all of these things. And it's like, well, why would anybody want to do that? You have to do that in real life.
Look,
Sims. This Breath of the Wild added challenges that could be considered more realistic. You don't like your video games to be more realistic.
If Link was walking around with a green diamond over his head, then I'd be like, all right, this is the pure, essence of the game, and I already know that walking in, which is why I never bought a Sims game. I don't need to know how my life can be 100 times better, fictitiously, than it is right now in reality, okay? But all I'm saying is that it's a Zelda game. I just want to play a Zelda game. Let the challenge fall with the dungeons. Let the challenge fall with the bosses, but don't give me a stupid bow and arrow that for some reason snaps after like 7 times using it. And I'm leaving it at that. I'm just saying, I'm leaving it at that. Bottom line, this guy, Breath of the Wild, I don't...
Okay.
Blah.
And for those of you who disagree with Larry, I would really like to hear from you through Facebook, through Instagram, through our email. Hell, I'll even throw one of you on the show to talk to him about it. Because this is definitely one game where I could not disagree with you more. Again, somebody who put over 100 hours into the game because I absolutely loved every single minute of it. It was a game that was easy to adapt to also.
The game does not make life easy to adapt to in it, and this is the Master Sword I will die on, okay? It is not easy. It took me 4 years.
You don't deserve to bring up the name Master Sword, let alone say you're going to die on it.
How long has it been out? Since 2017, 18, 4 years it took me to figure out how to properly cook something so I can stay warm for 3 minutes.
It's not that hard.
Apparently it was, okay?
Well, you and I have different adaptability.
Good, because this would be a very boring podcast. So...
Yeah. It would be. So I am sorry that you are unable to adapt to a video game as brilliant as Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
I'm brilliant. There's a fine line between genius and insanity. Okay, and that game, that is a tight wire to walk over. So,
no, I actually think you are the tight wire, and you kind of fell off.
Not old genre, not old games will have every great home run. But in any event, I digest, and let's move forward. And
yes, let's move on. Let's move on from the home run that was Breath of the Wild. Thank you very much.
The garbage that is Breath of the Wild. Let's move on. But I think to something that we can agree on.
I think you're going to lose your gaming. I think you're going to lose your gaming card. Like literally, Nintendo is going to show up and repossess everything you own of theirs.
Look, listen, I'm all for the OLED Switch. Okay, can we talk about that for a minute?
You're not going to be allowed to buy one.
Let me. It just dawned. I literally just dawned on me. I didn't even think about it. We didn't talk about this in pre-production.
We should bring up. Yes.
Let's bring that up. We might go a little long here. Nintendo just announced the Nintendo Switch OLED edition. So if you want your tree branch to break on an OLED screen, you can watch it in beautiful, vivid color as you sit there and go, oh, I got to find another tree branch.
If you want to play one of the greatest games ever created, you can do that on the new OLED Switch.
So I mean, this thing is, you either love it or you think it's the stupidest thing on the planet. Basically, long story short, all it is a slightly bigger Switch with an OLED screen instead of an LCD screen. And the base has a built-in Ethernet port. Beyond that, there's really a little bit of bigger memory, probably a little bit of a longer battery life. Beyond that, there's no difference, and and that's why people are up in arms.
Yeah. So when are you ordering it?
Honestly, I was at first I'm like, all right, let me pick it up because it would be nice to have like a nice fresh system. You know, mine's going on 4 years now, but in reality, it's still when docked, it's still 1080p in handheld mode. It's still 720 or 780.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting that. And other than that, there's no difference. All it is just a better. Which look, OLED is beautiful. Looking at an OLED screen is gorgeous. So games are going to pop better, but they're only going to pop in handheld mode. TV mode, there's no difference. So it really doesn't. All joking aside, and in all seriousness, there's no reason for any current Switch holder, in my opinion, to get the OLED edition. If you've never owned a Switch, absolutely go get the OLED edition. Absolutely. If anything, I might just, because they did say that the dock and the original Switch, we'll call it, are compatible with each other. So you can use the old Switch on the new dock. You can even use the new Switch on the old dock. I might just get the dock for the Ethernet port, because that does make it a little bit better than Wi-Fi, especially playing like Super Smash Brothers. They actually recommend to hook up via Ethernet. But beyond that, I don't, and I'm not saying it's a stupid idea. I'm just saying if you currently have a Switch, no need to upgrade. If you don't own a Switch ever, go for it. And that's really it. I don't understand well, I do understand because it's the internet and no people have nothing else to do. Just up in arms about it. Like, where's our Switch Pro?
Well, and that's the thing. They were, I mean, if Nintendo was designing a new Switch, people expected more to come out of it. That's all. It doesn't seem to make, to your point, like, it doesn't make any sense to announce a new Switch when a bunch of Switch owners are like, wait a minute, we're not going to buy that. Why would we just buy that because it's a new screen? It doesn't make any sense. So what they're basically, what fans are up in arms about is that Switch is basically, and Nintendo's not really offering anything new, or different or bigger enough worthy of the purchase. And that's why people are upset. Personally, again, this is one of those things where it's like, it doesn't bother me any because I wouldn't buy a new Switch anyway. I have one. OLED screen aside, it's like I don't see a purpose in buying a new Switch unless this one breaks.
I mean, again, if I played purely in handheld mode, well, if I played purely in handheld, I probably would have gotten a Lite by now, a Switch Lite. But if I played if I played purely in handheld, I probably would get it because of the OLED screen. And if I'm always playing handheld, if I get that screen to pop, then I'm good to go. You know what I mean? But I play 99% of the time, which is funny because on the Wii U, 99% of the time I played on the gamepad, which was weird. But most of the time I'm playing Switch on the TV. So there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Again, I might upgrade the dock. That's about it.
Are they selling the dock separately?
Yes. Dock will be sold separately.
Okay.
Even the current docking station is sold separately on the Switch website.
To me, that makes sense. Buy the dock because of the Ethernet connection.
In fact, I already have a second Nintendo Switch dock because I had one in my bedroom. So I would just bring the Switch into the bedroom and just do that. Dock was like $50 or so.
Okay.
But beyond that, it's Nintendo didn't announce at E3. They just posted something on social media. So that's why it's just like, all right, here's a newer version. Kind of like when they did like that when they first upgraded the Switch a little bit, where it just gave like a little bit more battery power to it. You know what I mean? Like, really, there's no difference. So, what it is. It's out there. Again, for current Switch owners, I think me and Anthony can agree, maybe not worth it. But for brand new Switch owners, go for it. It's definitely worth it at that point. So,
yeah, exactly. So, and that's Nintendo.
Yes.
Nintendo doing what Nintendo does, make their announcement, and they basically say, if you don't like it, too bad.
Well, look, it's marketing, and it's got them here for over 100 years. So,
that's very true.
And Nintendo, Nintendo has a lot to offer because, again, what we're going to wrap up here in a little bit is Nintendo property that is just, I'm a year older than it, and Ann is only a couple years older than it. And it's bugging me personally because of how old this amazing game is. And probably to a lot of us, probably one of the first, if not the first, like, arcade game that I remember being like, oh, there it is.
Yep.
And Ant, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, we are talking about the 40th anniversary of one of the most iconic video game franchises and characters of all time, Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Donkey Kong was released in arcades July 9th, 1981.
Wow.
And then went on to revolutionize, not only the video game industry or the arcade industry, but Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, it totally,
because,
I think it made Nintendo.
Well,
made
it's
Nintendo,
one of the things that,
I was going to say real quick, made Nintendo for the video game era of Nintendo.
Yes. So, yeah, one of the things that, that helped put Nintendo on the map also helped put Shigeru Miyamoto on the map as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was assigned to it. It was originally, he was asked to convert their radar scope arcades, which were kind of a flop, into a new game.
Very much
a complete flop.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a complete flop. So he took those radar scopes and wound up creating Donkey Kong. Now, Donkey Kong, of course, the obvious thing, introduced us to the villainous ape who became a lovable ape over time. And then also we were introduced to Pauline for the first time.
Yes, Pauline, who I heard has seen better days at this point, but Pauline was introduced back then. The first heroine.
Well, no, she's doing fine. She's the mayor of New Donk City.
Oh, that's true. I forgot she got reelected. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So she fell out of grace for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Rumors were she was in a trailer park with Mario and Luigi's cousin, Stanley. But she worked her way up. Worked her way back up into the becoming mayor of New Donk City in Super Mario Odyssey, which was great. And of course, we can't talk about Donkey Kong without the introduction of Jumpman, who later became Mario.
Yes. Who became a villain in the next game. It was very weird. They did a flip-flop. They did a double turn.
Yes, they did.
For Donkey Kong Jr. But a lot of introductions, a lot of firsts with this game that we'll talk about here. Let's go with it.
Well, what I find interesting about first off, the one thing I find interesting about the game itself is that you had Donkey Kong, you had Pauline, but then they didn't bother to give Jumpman a name. They just called him Jumpman because jumps, and it's like interesting choice there. You know what I mean? It's like
Miyamoto, they're on the truck. We need a name for this guy. What is Jumpman? All right, roll with it.
He's a man who jumps. Jumpman.
Mario, that's a stupid name.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks to the success of Donkey Kong, obviously Nintendo benefited from it really well. We've had numerous games, numerous Donkey Kong games, all the way until recently. They just announced that there's a new Donkey Kong game coming. So.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I believe Tropical Freeze was the last one to come out, and that was in 2014.
Yeah, they did a couple of reissues like on the 3DS and on the Switch, but yeah, Tropical Freeze, you're right, it was like the last original. I think it was on the Wii, right, or the Wii U. 2014.
It was on the Wii U.
Wii U. All right, I thought it was on the Wii.
It was on the Wii U, and they did re-release it on the Switch, I think, in 2018.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. Yeah.
So, and then just to celebrate the 40th anniversary, I thought I would jump into some fun facts about it because, we all know Donkey Kong is iconic. First thing to throw out there, of course, is the very, very well-known lawsuit that took place after Donkey Kong was released by Universal Studios because Universal thought it was copyright infringement over their King Kong franchise.
It sure bit them in the butt.
It really did. It really did. And thanks, Nintendo's lawyer wound up getting them off the hook.
Yep.
From that,
Not only
what was
that,
I going to say?
it screwed Universal in the end because what's his face's family, RKO, whatever. They're like, Universal, what are you doing? We own the rights to King Kong. So it caused Universal a whole bunch of other issues. And you want to talk about a cluster of a situation between that with King Kong? That's a whole nother story. But yeah, Universal had to pay for Nintendo's legal fees, their own legal fees. Oh, it was wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. So some fun facts about just Donkey Kong franchise overall. Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong was originally supposed to be a different franchise.
Yes, I love this story.
Yes. So originally the game was designed as a game for Popeye.
Yep.
The Sailor Man. And it was
not to be confused with Popeye the Gardener.
Well, I don't want anybody to confuse it with Popeye's fried chicken.
That's true. That's right.
So you get very confused. So originally the game was supposed to feature Popeye, Olive Oil, and Bluto. And you can obviously figure out which roles each one was supposed to be. But Nintendo could not get the rights to Popeye, so they morphed this game into Donkey Kong. The rest is history off of that. But it was really interesting that this game was originally created for something with a different purpose.
Yeah, right.
Donkey Kong was the first game to tell a story via cutscenes, which, so many games do today. And then again, these are random. I just pulled up some stuff from thefactsite.com.
Okay.
Some random things we may or may not like, but and it jumped. No, I'm just saying it jumped around a bit too.
Okay.
So one of the famous series of Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong Country.
Oh my God, that game when that came out
on Super Nintendo
blew my mind the way it looked. Like these graphics on a Super Nintendo, this is ridiculous.
Yep. So in 1994, Donkey Kong Country became the best-selling Nintendo game not bundled with a console.
Oh, okay.
Which is really interesting. Yeah. Interesting about Donkey Kong's movements are actually not based on a gorilla. They're based on those of a horse because they thought gorilla movements didn't work as well. So if you think about the way Donkey Kong moves
in Donkey Kong Country, okay,
yeah, you'll see that he doesn't actually move like a gorilla. Yeah, he gallops.
Yeah, I guess he does gallop. All right, I never thought of that.
Yeah, interesting thing about that, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have here? You brought it up before in Donkey Kong Jr. Mario is actually Donkey Kong's abusive owner.
Yeah, Mario went rogue there for a little while.
Yeah, Mario went a little crazy. Maybe he got a little upset because Donkey Kong kidnapped Pauline, so now he kidnapped Donkey Kong. And then in Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong's son has to save him from Mario.
Great game.
Yep. Let's see. In 2008, a man by the name of Don Hodges found an Easter egg buried in the depths of the Atari 400's version of Donkey Kong that displayed the coder's name on the credits screen after a series of actions were completed. The coder was Landon M. Dyer. So, and one of the things about video games back then is there were no credits, so coders did not get an actual credit in the game. It was just the game was released and that was it. And then the famous one, obviously, Adventure on Atari, where if you did certain things, you would find a room with the actual coder's name in it. So this is no surprise that somebody managed to uncover a coder's name in another game. In this case, it was the Atari 400 version of Donkey Kong. Yep. Donkey Kong 64. We talked about this, I think, even last week.
Yes, we did. If it's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, has the world record for the most in-game collectibles of any game today. There are 3,821 collectibles in the game. Wow. So, Larry, since you're not playing Breath of the Wild, I offer you a challenge. Go to play Donkey Kong 64 and collect all 3,821 collectibles.
I think I will.
Gotcha. We talked about Pauline. How about this one? The trademark Nintendo trademarked the phrase it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I heard about that.
In 2001.
Genius.
After it appeared in Ice Cube's song, Now I Gotta Wet Ya.
Yeah. I gotta watch. Okay. That's where it came from. I didn't realize. All right. It's all like Donkey Kong.
Ice Cube. It's Ice Cube's fault.
Thanks, Ice Cube.
Yep. There are over 35 different versions of Donkey Kong in terms of or 35 different games over the franchise.
Oh, okay.
We mentioned a few of them. Do you remember the TV show Donkey Kong Country?
Vaguely.
It came out in 97, aired for 2 seasons with 40 episodes, and it aired in France and the United States.
Okay.
Donkey Kong made his film debut in what 2015 movie?
I'm going to assume...
You know.
Oh, well, I was going to say Wreck-It Ralph, but either that or Pixels. I just don't know which one came out first.
It was Pixels.
Okay.
Pixels came out first.
So
Donkey Kong made his debut in Pixels.
That was fun. I'm not saying Pixels was like an Oscar-winning movie, but it was fun to see that, and like that being the climax of the movie. I thought it was really cool.
Yep. A few other things. Shigeru Miyamoto, who we talked about, created Donkey Kong, actually hated Donkey Kong Country so much that he publicly said, Donkey Kong Country proves that players will put up with mediocre gameplay as the art is good.
Wow. That is okay. And
yep.
I guess I can kind of see where he's coming from with that. Interesting.
Yep.
Because like, do you just real quick? I mean, when Donkey Kong Country was first announced, like, what was your thoughts in seeing that? Because I still remember, I'm like, how the hell can you do this on a Super Nintendo and get these amazing, I'm not gonna say lifelike, but like these amazing 3D graphics the way Donkey Kong Country was.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really didn't understand how they were going to pull it off, and leave it to Nintendo. They always manage to figure it out.
And I think Miyamoto has a point. I mean, I probably did end up buying Donkey Kong Country because it looked awesome, as opposed to any sort of gameplay, which I know was kind of like the MO at the time. But when Donkey Kong Country came out, we had enough magazines and everything to be able to get a better grasp of how the game is played. But still, that was, I think I bought that purely on like aesthetics.
Yeah. So I remember buying it because I thought it just looked like a cool game to play.
Okay.
It just, again, it looked visually very bright and fun, and and then from the commercials, it looked so smooth.
Exactly.
And when I picked it, and again, it had that 3D look to it. So when I picked it up, I was definitely not disappointed.
Okay.
One of the best games on the Super Nintendo.
Absolutely.
Interesting. This is an interesting fact that
there is no Donkey Kong Breath of the Wild.
No, but there should be.
No.
Donkey Kong has had 5 different developers create games for it, the franchise. So not just Nintendo, but you had Rare.
Oh, Rare. Yeah, Rare did the Country series. Yeah.
Yep, they did the Country series. Namco.
Really?
Retro Studios and a company called Paon or Paon, Paon. I've never heard of them.
Fair enough.
But they've all created Donkey Kong games.
Okay.
Here's an interesting one too. Donkey Kong was initially pitched as a boxing game called Donkey Kong Country with a new 3D visual style. The creators at Rare pitched the idea to Miyamoto, and they gave the nod to create a game with this style of graphics. That's how we got Donkey Kong Country. It was originally pitched as a boxing game.
That's weird, which basically comes full circle with Punch-Out on the Wii, because the final boss in that is Donkey Kong.
Yep. And that was the last bit of that piece of news I was going to tell you.
There you go.
So very nicely done. No, very nicely done.
Also, go ahead.
No, you do.
Oh, I didn't know if you have more facts. This might be one of them.
I do.
Another fun fact, Donkey Kong on the Game Boy was the first Game Boy to take advantage of the Super Game Boy graphics. In other words, when you put the game into a Super Game Boy, it had its own. Oh, wow. Hey, this is probably their first time on the show.
Yeah, go wander around the castle.
There's a lot of mice probably there to eat, so.
Yeah, she'll have fun.
Donkey Kong on Game Boy, again, was the first game to take advantage of the Super Game Boy with custom
Mm-hmm.
borders and like a full color palette on the Super Game Boy. And also,
that's really cool.
an amazing puzzler to play. So again, and that's one I recommend, Donkey Kong on Game Boy.
Okay, good to know. The name Donkey Kong comes from a mashup of King Kong, a Japanese phrase used across the country for a gorilla. They actually call gorillas their King Kong. And the first English word creator Miyamoto found to describe stubborn and dumb.
Donkeys, yeah.
That's how he got the word donkey.
Yep. Donkey.
The villain Manky Kong.
Okay.
I don't remember which game he was the villain in.
Yeah.
But Manky Kong is the only Kong not to be part of the Donkey Kong family.
Ah, okay.
So you got Donkey, Diddy, Dixie, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
Manky Kong is actually not related to the rest of the Donkey Kong family.
The Samoa Joe of the Kong family. Okay.
Yep. 3 Donkey Kong games that were announced and got canceled. There were 3. There was Donkey Kong Coconut Crackers.
Okay.
Diddy Kong Pilot. And Donkey Kong Racing.
Donkey Kong Racing.
Actually,
it was Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It became Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, okay, okay. Diddy Kong Pilot, you know what? That might have been incorporated into Diddy Kong Racing. Because I think there was some.
Probably was.
Yeah, I think there was some airplanes in Diddy Kong Racing. All right. Yeah, that's another one. Donkey, like the games as they came out, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, I think it was called, with the ones that came with the bongo drums. And I think there was another Donkey Kong game that incorporated something like on the Game Boy Advance. Again, very innovative, even with their controls. It seems like they went like where Nintendo always goes innovative with a new game system, like software wise, they're like, well, we have this new peripheral we want to put out. Let's give it to Donkey Kong. All right, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
And I never played Jungle
It works
Beat.
for them.
I wish I played Jungle Beat.
I never played
bongos.
Yeah, I never played Jungle Beat either. Yeah, let's face it. You and Rhythm don't get along.
Wow.
So
very accurate.
Just pointing out the obvious.
It's very
and then the last bit to share about Donkey Kong is the franchise itself on console has sold over 40 million games.
I believe that.
Which is pretty respectable.
Oh, totally. Look, Donkey Kong, really, you can't go wrong. I can't think of many bad Donkey Kong games. I'm not saying they're out there, not out there, but the go back to the original. And for the longest time, with the original Donkey Kong, the port to the Nintendo, a port to everything, really. The way he looked on Atari was always so alien, so weird. Yep. But, for all the times that the arcade game was ported to a system, whether it was a virtual console or an unlockable in Donkey Kong 64 or something like that, it wasn't until recently, probably like within the last 8 years or so, or at least since the 3DS was released, did we ever truly get a perfect arcade port of Donkey Kong, which included the Pie Factory stage.
That's right.
A lot of people who I talk to sometimes are completely unaware of the Pie Factory stage because it was never released on the home console versions. But it only was 2 versions that I know of that I have. One was a special edition on 3DS where they made it a point to be like, this is the arcade perfect that has this missing Pie Factory stage. And I was like, what the hell is a Pie Factory stage? And then when I played, it's a tough stage to get through. And then the Donkey Kong on the Switch, the Arcade Archive series, has it as well. So even nowadays, some people may be listening completely unaware. There's a 4th stage in Donkey Kong. It doesn't even appear until like your 2nd or 3rd playthrough, I think.
Yeah, you have to go into it a little bit.
You have to go through it a couple of times. So, and of course, King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters, the movie, that documentary, King Kong. So, Kong
Billy Mitchell, forever the villain.
The villain of the world. I still want to try his hot sauce. So, Donkey Kong, he definitely, who knew this game that ended up being, a replacement for an arcade game that failed in the US, and was a last minute replacement because they couldn't get the rights for Popeye. That literally, this game came about because of a third, almost not failure, but just it was like the final thing. It was never meant to be made. If you think about it, they just needed something. Needed something to replace Radar Scope, and they needed something because they couldn't do Popeye, and it became the success that it is.
I was just gonna say, sometimes that's how history happens.
There you go.
It's just a happenstance of circumstances.
Yep. So happy anniversary to Donkey Kong.
Happy 40 years.
There is
right. It's almost as old as us.
There is a group on TikTok. I will try and share it. It's a singing group, like an a cappella group from Japan, and they do like covers of like video games and some regular songs as well. But they do Donkey Kong. And it drives me nuts. They all stand in the same positions. You got the one girl holding like an iPad with the image or whatever, and there's a woman on the bottom corner who's doing the noises of Mario moving and jumping, and she's just like literally, she's like wah, 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 wah. Like her mannerisms is so weird to watch, and it's like. I can't help but just watch it on loop. I'll post it on the thing. I may have before. I'll post it again. It's mesmerizing. It's like 15 seconds. It's just hysterical. So, with that being said, though, let's wrap it up. Ant, where can they find us and yell at me?
Oh, God. Yes, please yell at Larry over Breath of the Wild. And you can do that at facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast. You can do that on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, on Twitter at RetroGamersPod. You can watch us on YouTube and IGTV. You can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can leave comments there, too, and yell at Larry for not liking Breath of the Wild. You can also email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
I guarantee at least one person will agree with me.
No.
I guarantee it.
No, I don't think you can guarantee it.
Yeah, boo. All right. Well, Ant, enjoy. I feel like you got a lot of cobwebs to clean up or something. Just, do what you can.
I don't know. I just gotta go. I gotta go find my cats. I may not stay here long.
Oh, boy. All righty. Folks, we will catch you everywhere next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.